Okay, so once again, good afternoon to everyone. So in today's practical session, we have to study the practicals on a two-port network. Okay, so today we are going to simulate the H parameter. Okay, so might be in your theory lecture you can solve the examples by using H parameters, right? So have you solved the examples by using H parameter? How to calculate the various parameters by using the for a two-port network? Yes, have you solved the various examples on H parameter?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so can anyone tell how many parameters are there? कितने total parameters? Okay, so we have a total four parameters: H11, H12, H21, and H22. Right? So by using the theoretical method, we can calculate the values of these four parameters. Okay, so if a circuit consists of uh, two loops, then we can apply the KVL to loop 1 and loop 2. Right? So based on the KVL rule, we can calculate the values of current I1 and I2, right? And based on the equations of H11, H12, H21, and H22, we can find out the values of these four parameter. Okay, so similar to that, directly by using a given circuit, we can simulate the circuit and we can find out the values of four parameters. Okay, so for that we require a particular circuitry. So we take a uh, random a simple circuit, and for that circuit we can calculate the four parameters. Okay, so basically the circuit diagram of each parameter consists of the two voltage sources, right? So at left side we can consider the V1, at right side we can consider the V2, right? So based on the voltage values we can again uh, calculate the current I1 and I2. So once we find out the voltage V1 and V2 and current I1 and I2, so by using the formula of four parameters, we can calculate the values of individual parameter. Okay, so for that we require the formulas of the four parameters. ठीक आहे, सो तुम्हाला लक्षात आहेत का चार पॅरामीटरचे फॉर्म्युले? व्हॉट इज द फॉर्म्युला फॉर H11, H12, H21 and H22? But ठीक आहे, so first we draw the basic circuit in our software. Okay, so everyone focus on your screen. I'll share my screen. Okay, so have you observed my screen? Yes, माझा आवाज येतो व्यवस्थित?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, so first we can draw the basic circuit diagram. So have you, if you observe the circuit diagram of each parameter, then it consists of the two voltage sources, right? So we can call it as a V1 and V2. So first we have to take the two voltage sources, V1 and V2. So everyone focus on your screen, how to take the voltage sources. Okay, so if we practice the software, then we'll get the idea. Okay, so first we can draw the circuit diagram for the two port network. So here I'll take the voltage source V1 and V2. Okay, so first I'll complete the circuit diagram. So everyone focus on your screen. So after that I'll take the resistors. Okay, so in multisim software there is a one window that is a basic. So in basic, we can find out the various components. That is a resistor, capacitor, yeah, inductor, or various sources. So I'll take the resistor. Okay, and to complete the circuit, we require the ground. Okay. Okay, so everyone focus on your screen. So in order to connect the two components, we take a connecting wires. So by using connecting wire, we can interconnect the connection. Yes, have you observed the circuit diagram? ठीक आहे, सर्किट डायग्राम दिसतंय का तुम्हाला? Yes. So here we can complete the circuit diagram for two port network. So here I'll mention the values for Phi1 and Phi2. Okay. So we'll take the Phi1 and Phi2 as a 5 volt. Okay. 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 So once the circuit diagram is complete, so we can save the circuit diagram. Okay. So can anyone tell what is the procedure to solve the examples by using H parameter? कसं तुम्ही solve करता? How you can calculate the 4 parameter by using this circuit? सांगू शकताय? What is the process? What is the procedure to find out the H parameter? आठवतंय? Okay. So everyone now listen carefully. So first, to calculate the 4 parameter, first we require the formulas of the 4 parameter. Okay. So once we know the formulas, we require the values of phi1 and phi2. Okay. So from where we can take phi1 and phi2. So in our circuit diagram, we mention the values of phi1 and phi2. So phi1 is 5 volt and phi2 is also 5 volt. So first everyone note down the values of phi1 and phi2. Yeah, keep in your mind. So the value of phi1 and phi2 is a 5 volt. Okay. So after that, we require the values of current I1 and I2. Okay. So in theoretical method, you can apply the Kirchhoff's voltage rule for loop 1 and loop 2 and find out the values of I1 and I2. So in our software, we can directly calculate the values of I1 and I2. So in order to measure the values of current, we require the multimeter. Okay. Okay. So first we can find out the values of current I1 and I2. Okay. So how to calculate the values of current I1 and I2? Okay. So to calculate the current I1, मग जर आपल्याला current I1 calculate करायचं असेल, so we have to consider the loop 1. Okay. So at that time, whatever the other voltage source, that is voltage source V2, we can make as a short circuit. बरोबर आहे? Okay, so first we have to calculate the value of current I1. So in order to calculate the current I1, we can make a V2 as a short circuit. So instead of a V2, we can short circuit the V2. Yes. So have you observed the circuit? Have you observed the change? दिसतोय का change? Okay. So now we have to calculate the current which is flowing through the loop 1. So in order to calculate the current, we require the multimeter. So we can connect here. Okay, and we can simulate. Okay, so here we can display the value of current I1. So can anyone tell what is the value of I1? This is the value.
61.658 milliampere.
Okay, so now first you can note down the values of V1 and V2. So the value of V1 is a 5 volt. The value of V2 is also the 5 volt. Okay, and the value of current I1 is 61.65 milliampere. Okay, so anyone you can note down the values of V1, V2 and I1. Okay, so in order to calculate the four parameter, we require the values of V1, V2, I1 and I2. Okay, so note down the values of I1 and now we have to calculate the value of I2. Okay, so the I2 is the loop current which is flowing through the second loop, right? So now we have to make the V1 as an open circuit. So we can remove V1. Okay, so now everyone observe the change in circuit. So now we have to put the V2. Okay, so the value of V2 is also 5 volt. And by using a multimeter, we can measure the value of current I2. Okay, so here we can connect positive and negative polarity. Okay, so have you observed the value of current I2? Yes.
7.311 milliampere.
Okay, so note down the value of current I2, 7.311 milliampere. Okay, so in this way we can calculate the values of I1 and I2. So how to calculate the I1? So the I1 is a loop current flowing through, or we can consider as a loop 1. Okay, so for that we can consider the only the voltage source V1, and for I2 we can consider the second loop and we can consider only the voltage source V2. Okay, so once we know the value of V1, V2, I1 and I2, we can calculate the H parameter. We can calculate the value of H11, H12, H21 and H22. Okay, so tell me the formula for H11, how to calculate the H11. Yes, what is the formula for H11? कोण सांगू शकताय? येस, आहे का लक्षात फॉर्म्युला फॉर एच पॅरामीटर? 4 H parameters, H11, H12, H21 and H22. So have you know the formulas? आहेत का लक्षात? Have you studied the examples on H parameter, two port networks? झाले तुम्हाला theoretical lecture मध्ये, theory मध्ये?
Yes, sir.
Yes. हा, मग फॉर्म्युले लक्षात आहेत का तुमच्या? What is the formula for H11?
P1 by I1.
Very good. So we know the value of V1, we know the value of I1. So V1 divided by I1. Okay. So what is the value of V1? V1 ची व्हॅल्यू किती आहे?
5 volt.
Very good. What is the value of I1?
61.658 milliampere.
Okay. So put the value of V1 and I1. Okay. So we can get the H11. So similar to that, what is the formula for H12? Yes, formula for H12.
P1 by P2.
Very good. V1 divided by V2. So the value of V1 is 5 volt. The value of V2 is also 5 volt. So 5 divided by 5, answer is 1. Now third parameter, H21. Okay, tell me the formula for H21. Yes, what is the formula for H21?
I2 by I1.
Very good. I2 divided by I1. So value of I2 is 7.311 milliampere and the value of I1 is 61.65 milliampere. So make a division of I2 divided by I1. So formula for H21 is I2 divided by I1. So we'll get the values of H21. And the fourth parameter is H22. So it is a formula for H22.
I2 by P2.
Very good. I2 divided by V2. So put the value of I2 and put the value of V2. So value of I2 is 7.311 milliampere and V2 is 5 volt. So the formula for H22. So H22 is equal to I2 divided by V2. Okay. So by using these calculations, we can find out the various H parameters. Okay, so have you understood it? How to calculate the values of parameter by using simulation method? Okay, so in your theory part, might be you can calculate the value of I1 and I2 by using the KVL rule, right? How कसे तुम्ही काढल्या I1 आणि I2 च्या values? Okay, so might be you can apply the KVL to loop 1, then KVL to loop 2, and you can find out the values of I1 and I2. Okay, so without applying the KVL rule, we can directly measure the values of I1 and I2 and put it in the formula. Okay, so in this way we can derive the H parameter by using the simulation method. Okay, so have you understood it? Yes, have you understood it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So similarly, we can simulate the other parameter also, Z parameter and Y parameter. Okay. So next parameter we'll take in a next practical session. So for today's practical session, we can take only H parameter. Okay. So if you have to practice of it, so you can do the practice. Okay. Okay. So today we'll take only H parameter. Okay. So now you can put your attendance. Okay. Once you put your number, you can left.